Nicola.
Speaker, when urban millennials read the Youthful Cities Index, it's clear the Minister of Housing has failed. The average young person's budget takes a $750 a month hit just for living in a city. A new shiny savings account for a home won't help these millennials as inflation outpaces their wages. There are no savings to be had. The only thing that this minister has delivered to them in 7 years is a doubling of housing prices. Does the minister comprehend all of his empty talk on housing affordability has made a whole generation of Canadian millennials cynical about politics and about this government?
Cynical.
Honourable Minister for Housing.
That's a lot of hot air to cover 10 years of inaction on housing. We're the government that brought back national leadership on housing, Mr. Speaker. We're investing more than ever before to help Canadians access their dream of home ownership. Every time in this House, when we've brought measures to help Canadians access, Speaker, the reason they can't handle my answers is because I'm exposing their bankrupt policies and their fake rhetoric in this House, Mr. Speaker. For 10 years, they had a chance to invest in affordable housing and provide national leadership on an important issue for Canadians. And what did they do? They downloaded housing to provinces and municipalities. And you would think that they would learn from their time in opposition. And even today, their members of their caucus always talk about how we should withdraw from our affordable housing investments. Shame on them, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Prince George, Peace River, Northern Rockies. I just want to remind the honourable members, if I can have your attention. Order. 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 If I can have your attention, I just want to remind you that if you're going to heckle and the person next to you has a question or an answer for that matter, it's not good to shout because you're within reach of the microphone. So just a little pointer for you. The honourable member for Prince George, Peace River, Northern Rockies.
In Fort Nelson, BC, the rising cost of gas and tax increases is having a huge impact on small businesses already struggling to survive. Dave Milner and Bev Vandersteen of the Fort Nelson Chamber of Commerce warned that if urgent action isn't taken by this Prime Minister, more businesses will fail, leaving the people unemployed and families in crisis. According to RBC, there's not a single city in Canada that is affordable for young people. These businesses, the people that run them, and young Canadians are the backbone of our communities. Why does this government continue to punish them?
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the honourable member. I agree with him that the small businesses are the backbone of all of our communities across Canada. It's why throughout the pandemic we were there for them, supporting them every single step of the way. I'm so pleased that we continue to work with small businesses, and I would encourage that we all work together to support our businesses and the very wonderful workers that they employ so that they can get on this economic road to recovery, because they very much are part of our economic future. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Brantford Brant.
Mr. Speaker, when we talk about the fuel crisis, this tone-deaf response from the government is that they have Canadians back. They cite the carbon tax rebate and, of course, the misinformation on cutting taxes for the middle class. My constituents are struggling. They are fearful. They are angry. The challenge is paying for fuel at the expense of feeding and clothing their kids. Start listening to Canadians. Instead of blaming external factors, the government has the power to do the right thing. Will they immediately cut the crippling carbon and excise taxes on gasoline?
The Honourable Minister.
When it comes to kids and families, our government has been there every step of the way. In 2015, we introduced the Canada Child Benefit, lifting 300,000 Canadian families out of poverty. And in fact, in that member's riding of Brantford Brant, families will soon, who have children in childcare, be receiving a 25% reduction in fees. And by the end of this year, that fee will be reduced by 50%. That might be up to $400 or $500 a month in people's pockets. That's real money helping Canadian families, helping Canadian kids meet the high cost of living. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.